I'm so excited. I'm happy.
We back. I'm so happy.
I'm very happy for us.
We had a nice long hiatus and we back in the building, and I love that for us.
The Girls Want to Know is back, you guys. And what do the girls want to know?
The girls want to know where we've been, actually.
Literally, where have we been?
We've been doing things. We've been working on ourselves. Yes.
Girl, work on yourselves is not, I don't know even know what that means anymore.
I mean, I think it's a continual, perpetual effort. Like, there's never a point where you're not working on yourself.
Literally, I'm like a flower, but sometimes I'll be dead. I just don't know.
It just it's a flaccid flower.
Ooh, some of my leaves is brown.
Comes back up.
Baby brown, baby.
You got to prune it, get it together.
Cut them
and
off.
the thing is, you do have to prune.
You do.
You constantly have to prune. You constantly have to be in a space of like figuring out, okay, what is still working for me and what can I let go of? So this is what I've been doing.
Exactly. We left off on a very interesting space. We left off, I think we were both in between jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Life was lifing. The transition was big for the both of us. It was, for me, it was breakups, loss of jobs, family issues. What was going on?
For me, it was leaving my job after I had been there for 12 years. I always say 13. I don't know why I keep saying 13, but I was there for 12 years. It was also mourning. I lost my uncle. It was also like not really knowing what direction I was going in my life and just kind of free falling.
Okay.
And yeah, we still free falling a little bit, but
I
feel like I'm in control of it.
I feel like after everything I went through, the lessons was lessening.
They were.
I learned a lot. So the free fall feels different for me this round.
Agreed.
Actually, I'm having a good time with my free fall.
Me too.
More this time than ever.
Yeah.
But I think I've also learned that a lot of the work that I put into my life at that time, I realized I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, you definitely get to a point in the free fall where you're kind of like floating and you're just kind of like, oh, this is what we're doing? Okay, I could do this.
Yeah. I've gone skydiving. Have you gone skydiving?
I haven't. I probably would.
Okay. Yeah. I would not recommend.
I wouldn't.
I've done it once, but I will say if you're tense, it makes the experience much worse than it is if you're having a good time.
I could see that. And I just don't feel that I would be untense. Like I like the plane doors closed when I'm in the air. So.
When you get up there, you be like, I've lost my motherfucker.
Right, correct.
Why did I decide this? But just to add that to your life, I feel like now that I'm not as freaking out about everything that's happening in my life, the free fall feels better. It's almost like it looks better on me. Being able to fight against the current that's coming in, knowing just how to relax when I'm swimming.
Yes. And so that was kind of, I wasn't in the place last year where I was understanding how to relax while I was swimming.
Neither was I, girl.
And so I got to a point in like November, December where everything was just falling apart in like a real like comedic way. Like,
listen,
are you fucking serious? Like we could stop anytime.
Let me tell you something. I was sliding down a wall type. Viola Davis cry.
We could really stop anytime. I've had enough.
Screaming to God like, you hate me. Like literally.
Why you doing me like this? You playing me like a fool. I don't like it.
Girl.
But yeah, it got to a point where I just had to be like, okay, this is the situation we're in. And the situation was just very much like I had a certain amount of money that I was like earmarked for the year. And so many things, and this was for the year. This was for me to be able to take a year off of work comfortably.
Okay.
So many things came up in this year that were unexpected, like big things. Like just to give you context, I had to buy a new laptop. Somehow like liquid smoke poured into my laptop.
Liquid smoke?
I don't know.
What's that?
It's like, it's something that you can use to provide like a smoky flavor to mushrooms, or people use it to add the smoky flavor.
With.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what is you doing in the house?
Girl, I don't even know. I feel like
it was bad, but you was in there tripping.
Liquid smoke, like smoke? No. But yeah, I had to buy a new laptop. I ended up going to St. Louis for a second time for a month. But whenever I go to St. Louis, I'm still paying the $3,500 worth of LA bills I have. Oof. So if I'm in St. Louis for a month, that's money that I'm putting in LA, but I also have to spend in St. Louis. Because it's not like it's I spend money. My nieces and nephews are there. Like I could go and be like, no, the purse strings are closed, but what's the fun in that? Like I'm the auntie from out of town. I want to like give them a good time. And it was birthdays and my mom was sick. And so had to like get into a mindset of how do we help her recover, and all that stuff costs money. And so by the end of the year, it was like, oh yeah.
Oh, listen.
This money that was supposed to last till like February was gone in November. And I was like,
when I tell you, what is saving? What is that?
I don't know.
Because I was in that same boat.
Yeah.
I was in between jobs, and the money that I made from, I'm an entertainer, if you guys don't remember, and the money that I made from Killing It, go watch it. Season 2 is out on Peacock.
Great show.
Great show. The money that I made from Killing It, I will say I know how to be poor. I budgeted that because it wasn't a lot. I wasn't a full series regular. I was just a recurring character, and like I had that money, but I was living off of it the whole time that I was looking for a job and trying to figure stuff out. Luckily, you know, I had gotten some entertainment funds during the strike, and I got a couple other little like government assistance things I was doing, but just seeing how fast that money was going.
It flies out of your hands.
Especially it's just like, trying to pay your rent.
It's like water through a sewer gate. Like, it just really, you can't hold on to it. It doesn't matter what you do. It's
absolutely
crazy. It's a hole in the cup. Like,
literally.
Yeah.
And so like how fast I was going through it was just, you live in fear. You're like, every time you look at your bank account, you're like, oh, what am I gonna, you know, so I lived like that the whole time. Now, granted, I was blessed. A lot of really great blessings came through. I think a lot of them came through because I was just like, well, if they sit me out on the road, I'm out there. Like I just didn't. I
let go.
Caring. I let go.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of that and a lot of emotions as far as like what I was going through with feeling low. Because one of the things I think I went through last year was accepting where I was in my life.
Yeah.
That was hard for me. It was like I had a plan of what I thought my life would look like at a certain age and, you know, career-wise. And when it wasn't that, it was like more of like acceptance of...
Yeah, because you mourn that.
Yeah.
You really go through a phase of like having to say, okay, like it didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. And now I'm in this new position that I never thought I'd be in. How do I accept this?
Well, no one prepares you for that.
Nobody prepares you for that. Nobody prepares you for getting your dream job and working it and burning out and quitting your dream job.
Let me tell you the part that what I learned last year that I think is really good for me now in my career. In my mind, I was like, oh, you got your first recurring character that's a big deal on a national TV show next to Craig Robinson, okay? I'm like, gagged.
You're like, this is it.
You're like, I watch Hot Tub Time Machine. Like, I can't believe I'm hanging out with this person. I'm on the show, you know, and you think in your mind, you're like, my life's getting ready to change.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be a star. And then all of a sudden, boom, out of your control, there is a strike. And you're like, I'm on a TV show and I'm poor. Hi. It's like, you don't expect that. So like, that was a heavy moment for me, which caused me to get into a lot of depression of like, am I on the right path? Or is this what God wants me to do? Should I be doing something else? You start questioning your entire life.
Really
You're like, maybe I'm making a mistake. Did I do this all wrong type thing?
It's a real humbling experience.
Listen.
And for me, it was just very much like, okay, I did not plan for anything. Like even bringing my nephew out to LA. I didn't plan to do that, but there was a need there for him to just kind of see what life was like outside of St. Louis. And so he came out and it was great. Like had the time, honestly, it healed a lot of my inner child because we just got to go around and do kid stuff and he loved it. And to like see how he felt and to see how happy he was to be experiencing
auntie you.
Yeah, it was so great to be able to auntie in that way. But also it was like really healing for having lost my uncle because my uncle did the same thing for me when I was in high school. So he flew us to DC and like took us around everywhere. And to be able to do that really did feel so great, but I didn't plan for that. And
I think it's good that you remembered to be human and to give to someone else. Because I'm going to keep it gangster. When I was sad, I was quite selfish. A bitch was like, I don't care. I'm going down in flames. Like, I was just tripping, you know, but I learned through that process. I learned from you. And I also learned that I didn't want to miss out on things. I became a better daughter, a better sister, a better friend through the process of like everything that was going on in my life. Because after a while, you're like, okay, well, you can't control this, but don't miss out on loving someone and being there for someone. So like that part.
And honestly, like the big breakthrough for me, like literally ran out of money in November. And the way my family and friends showed up, you know you're loved. I think we all have a concept that we're loved by the people in our lives. But the way these people showed up for me, like, I remember crying to my sister, telling her I felt like a burden because I just couldn't carry everything anymore. Like, it was just so much. And my sister was like, you're not a burden. Like, we love you. And then she kind of rallied the troops.
I love
and
that.
I was just kind of like, oh, you motherfuckers really fuck with me. That's crazy.
I think that's beautiful. And that having a relationship with your sibling is everything during that.
Everything. Even my bestie, like just like talking to her and telling her what I was going through. She like hit the Cash App, like, bitch, check your phone. And I was like, oh my God, like ugly crying.
Having a support system during a tough time is very important. It is.
Like it's really just I felt so like, I don't know that I was shocked, but it was just really like touch you down to the nerve of your heart. Like really just like, oh, okay. Like I knew y'all loved me, but y'all really, really, really love me. And the thing is, to your point, like for them, it's just like, you do this kind of stuff for people. Like let people show up for you. And I've said that to people before. Like you're a superwoman. You're always like helping everybody else. I say this to my mom, my sister, my bestie all the time. I don't really think of it in the context of myself though. I think we kind of downplay how we show up for people, especially when we don't have kids. We don't have a mortgage. We don't have like the big, big, big responsibilities that other people have. When we show up for people, I don't know, at least I do. I am validated in a sense that it doesn't cost me as much. Yeah. But the truth of it is I'm doing this alone. We're doing something really hard alone. And being able to show up for people and have them show up for you is really like, it's just the most warm feeling of love. Like that shit healed me. Like, and after it happened, I just was kind of like, okay, well, the hard part's over. I mean,
well, you know what? I want to ask you though, how would you, because I felt like I had those moments a lot. As someone that's been in entertainment going on over 20 years, I've had so many of those moments that I felt bad last year. Yeah. A lot of my like depression came into being like, damn, you're never in a financial space to help anybody else. Yeah. You're never in a space to give to somebody else. So I had to learn from those moments what is the best way for me to give.
But the thing is, I just didn't
I didn't feel like it. Like my mother's getting older and I'm like, bitch, what you gonna give her? You gonna go in there and perform a set? Because you ain't got nothing else.
But the thing is, you can show up for her in other ways. So being able to like have her call you and vent and you talk her back off the ledge about stuff and that she's really freaked out about.
Came from.
But also, let me just pour into you for a little bit, bitch, because you are an inspiration to me. Thank you. Literally, I see your hustle and I'm like, I gotta do more. I gotta step up. And I'm so thankful
I'm glad you're saying that, because some days I'll be like, you need to sit down. No. You need to do that. Because I'd be like,
no, that's how you pour into people though. Your pour into people is by showing people how to really pour everything they have into doing what they love.
Thank you.
You really fucking
Because my little brother tells me that a lot. He's like, I get my hustle from you.
You are a hustler, bitch. Don't you ever fucking forget it.
I'm tired as hell. Like I didn't really realize though how much I was putting into my life and my career until I let go. It was it was almost like I saw this quote, I read this quote. It was like, it's easier to let go of the rope than burning your hands or something. Or something like that I read.
It's maybe like, I'm saying so it wrong, I have a tattoo that says let go or be dragged.
I was getting dragged.
You get dragged. You ripping the skin off your face because you holding on to some shit that is not serving you.
A very controlling
Let it go. Yes. And so don't ever think you not pouring into the people who are around you. Being able to pour into someone financially is great. That's fantastic. But that is not the only way to pour into someone. Yeah. And a lot of times I think we're not giving ourselves the credit for how beautiful our soul is and how that resonates with other people when we interact with them.
I feel like we be like, it is actually right now Women's International History Month. And I think that a lot of women don't give ourselves enough credit.
We don't give credit. And the thing is because the expectation of us is to be superhuman at all times. Yeah. And to not.
And we're raised that way, I think, for Black women.
We are.
I think that is what was the issue between me and my mother. We had like a very rocky relationship like last year because of the fact that me and my mom just don't really know how to handle each other in an emotional state. When I'm in an emotional state, she's always like, I don't understand this. Pick it up and keep it moving.
What's her sign?
My mom's a Pisces, which is very much a lover sign.
Is it?
But I mean, I don't know. Aren't they? I think that they are. I believe that they are. I could be wrong, but
I don't know. I feel like they're very emotional people.
Yeah.
Every Pisces that I know,
But like the way that I think a lot of it, what I'm learning is it's not that my mother's trying to be mean to
No.
me. It's the way that she was raised. That trickles down.
And she doesn't know how to communicate with you at your level, and you don't know how to communicate with her at hers. And so you guys are constantly like ships in the night.
And I also think a lot of it is too, when I'm in an emotional space, she wants to help me, and when she can't, that bothers her. So I think that was the issue. But yeah, for me, it was just like, it was very difficult for us to get along during my time of like heartache, you know, especially going through the breakup. My mother is real quick to be like, "You crying over a man? Get it together." Like, and I was just like, this was the shot. Like, I was literally talking to one of my friends last night. I was like, because I was telling her, I'm like, I'm in a healthy relationship now, and I'm like very happy, and I'm like moving into like a bigger space. And she was like, "I don't know how you do it. I don't trust anyone anymore." And I was like, "Girl, listen, had a whole man take me on a whole trip all over the country, and he was lying." Like, I'm crazy to trust someone.
It's a learned behavior, though.
Yeah.
It's constantly like allowing yourself to feel your feelings and then saying, okay, hold on. What is real, and what am I carrying from past experiences, and how do I separate these so that I can live in this moment and experience this real thing that's happening?
Also, I told myself I didn't want to become a bitter woman or feel like every man was bad because of a person that didn't know themselves. It was terrible to me. Because what I learned later is like, oh, this person's having a bad time. You shouldn't stop your life because he's crazy.
That's why I don't be mad at people when it doesn't work out. Because if you treat me poorly, I'm the best. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Let me tell you, honey.
I'm really the best.
Like, you know what?
So if a motherfucker treats me
God's
bad,
favorite because you ever be real sad over somebody, and then you be like, I hope karma get them, and then all of a sudden you be like, oh, it came quick.
The thing is, I don't even need to know how the karma do be coming quick.
I'm crazy, so I will have a fake page on your
I don't even need to know how their karma came.
I will be tapped into your failure.
She said I got a little hack.
Okay. Nah, I'm crazy.
Yeah, I just feel like when people are treating me poorly, that's you. Yeah. And the thing is also, like, I'm not gonna let the way that another person treats me make me feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Well, I used to not be that. I used to always be like, oh, I need to change myself.
No, I used to do that too. And I think you get to a point where you're just kind of like, no, these motherfuckers are really damaged.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But it also, to your point of your friend being like, I don't trust anybody anymore. I'll cut people off very quickly. And so something that I'm trying to be less rigid about is how quickly I will just cut something off. Like I cut somebody off last week because I just felt like you lying, and I don't know if he was
your gut
lying.
is never lying.
It's never wrong.
It's
but
never
I also
wrong.
don't know if he was lying. But when I have questions about things that early, I just disengage. I'm not curious. I don't want to know the answer. Exactly. I gotta go because I just don't think for me it has ever been a situation where I've suspected something and it not been what I suspected.
Do you feel like also like everything you've gone through with like your mother and like finances and like leaving your job has put you to the point where you're like, I know what's important to me and what's not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think last year really stripped me of my comforts. Like,
when I say, let me tell you something, I'm outside naked.
Yeah. Okay. In the tundra, baby. Ooh. Like, we don't got no kind of
I'm on Survivor,
nothing. Where is my weather
1000.
gear? Yes. Like, please somebody give me a super dry jacket or something. Like, yeah, it really stripped me of my comforts. And there's so many things that you get validation from that suddenly last year, I would say over the last couple years, honestly, I've just really kind of had to walk away from these things that I was getting this validation from, and also things that were kind of like safe for me. And so, yeah, last year stripped me of my comforts, and I really had to get to a place where I was like, I am okay, just me. Yeah. Like, just me being who I am. I don't need any outside factors to contribute to the totality of my awesomeness. Like, I am okay. I am great, just me standing alone. But it took a little minute for me to be able to acknowledge that. I think
that you do have to be stripped down.
You do got to be stripped down
in order to get to that.
Yes, because I don't think I ever running out of money. Have been.
I love that. I love running out of money, honey.
Woo, girl.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever have been. No, let me not say that. Obviously, when I first moved to LA, I struggled. But like for the last 6-7 years, I've been in a stable job with a stable income. I've been able to take care of myself on my own. I have not had to ask for assistance for the most part. And so getting to a place where I'm like not sure how I'm going to pay the bills. I was like, oh, this is new and horrible.
For me, the depression came in because that was like a space I've always been in because I've always been an independent artist. I've always been like even in Chicago, that was my life. Like I had, if I wasn't working in restaurants as a bartender, I was always like hustling because I was making myself open for what it is I want to do.
Yeah.
So I think what really was making me trip and like it brought my relationship with God much more stronger.
Yeah.
But I felt like, when am I going to get out of this? Like, how do I shake this? I think it was more of acceptance of understanding the business that I was in and how it has changed so much for me. Because it was just like, and maybe like, I would say darn near 10 years ago, if you got on a TV show, that would be
you would be up for life.
But like now you're competing with TikTok and all kind of like, and we got like 10,000 like streaming stations that people do or do not subscribe to, excuse me. But I feel like that was the hard part for me, being like, I was always in that position. So it was like, when do I break the cycle?
So for me, and I think it kind of happened pretty quickly, I was in the position where I could not pay for my life. And I had to get to a point where A, I was okay to accept help. And then B, where I kind of just changed my thinking about it. So I started doing Lyft. Because every time, baby, somebody tried to eat a tuna sandwich in my car yesterday. Girl, if you don't cook this shit.
Not tuna.
I was like, and I turned around, I was like, is that meat? And she said, yeah. And I said, kid you not?
Like, it's a strong smelling sandwich.
Who tries to eat tuna in a car? Anyway.
Listen, this is LA.
It was weird. So random. But yeah, I started doing Lyft because every time I would try to like apply for a job, I just kind of felt like my throat was closing up. Like, like I can't breathe. Yeah. And so I'm like, what can I do? Because I need to earn money, but I also can't really go back into a retail place. I don't want to get a normal job. And I started doing Lyft, and it got to a point when I first started doing it, I was kind of embarrassed and like just really feeling down on myself because you go from being able to support yourself and pay for vacations and buy whatever you want to not knowing how you're going to pay the bills. And I had to take a step back and say, no, you actually are in a position where you're pursuing your dream career. Like I've been watching cooking shows since I was knee high to the fucking curb. Like, I love cooking. I don't love cooking. I love eating. Let me be more specific. I love eating. Yeah. And so I'm in a position now where there's nothing really holding me back. I don't have kids. I don't have a mortgage. Like I got a little bit of debt, but that's the government's
I think
problem.
everybody does.
That's student debt. I don't worry about that.
I mean, Joe Biden, where you at? We've been waiting on you.
Like, I'm not going to worry about that.
I don't have student debt no more. I paid them back in my mind.
Exactly. That is a problem between them and God and Sally Mae, and it's not going to be something that I'm going to concern myself with. Yeah. But the way that I flipped it for myself.
I forgave me.
Yeah.
Forgiveness has already happened.
It's done. I just had to change my perception of it. Like, I really am in a place where I get to pursue my dream. I get to come in and like do a podcast, which is something I wanted to do for a really long time. I get to make my own schedule. I get to see new places in LA that I've never seen before. LA is massive. And I think what happens is we get here and we stay in our bubble. So I'm in like the mid-city area and I stay in mid-city, like Culver City, Beverly Hills, downtown. That's where I am, and that's all I really know of LA.
Oh, you driving so you get to see.
I'm driving, and so I'm in Sierra Madre, and I'm in Irvine, and I'm in like Laguna Niguel and freaking Pasadena, and I'm seeing all these places that I really don't ever see, and it's beautiful, but it also just expands you a little bit. Yeah. And so the perspective that I have on this is that I want to travel at some point. Yeah. And I want to solo travel. And I want to travel obviously with whoever. But the point of it is like, this is me kind of dipping my toe in the water of solo travel. Because I drop these people off and then I'm out there until I find another ride. Right. And I just kind of will explore and see like, oh, okay, what's going on in Sierra Madre? What's going on? And it's nothing. It's like a little mountain town.
But that's the best part about the struggle.
You get new perspective. Right. Yes. And so I'm just kind of like thinking of it in the context that this is preparing me for, not an alarm, prepare me for the next stage of my life. And as much as I would not have chosen this a year ago, I'm 100% happy to be here.
And I will say this. I think, and I learned this, which sounds crazy. I used to always tell my mom, like, I'm always in the struggle, crying. But I'm like, the struggle really makes me a better comic. I really feel like it also really makes me stronger as a person. I know I used to hate when people would say
but
that
it's
to
the
me.
truth. You're being sharpened.
They'll be like, oh, this means you're on the verge. And it actually does. Like, that's one thing that I will say that I literally just told my brother this because I was giving him some motivation for something. But I was just like, literally, when you're in the trenches, oh my God, what is on the way is about to be so fly.
It's so amazing.
So fly. Yeah. Like now, when things go bad, like I lose a job or a relationship or whatever it is that I lose, I'm like really fine with it now. Yeah. For the first time in my life. Usually I used to be like, why am I unemployed again? Why doesn't he love me? It's just like I've learned now, like every time I lose that job that I'm like so wholly attached to, a better one comes. Or when I'm just like, you know, kicking and screaming and crying over a man, it's like a better man comes. And now I'm like, whenever something gets weird, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's happening, God. I see what we're getting ready to do. You know what I'm saying? So like
letting
now,
it go, yeah.
But I'm noticing that release. I'm starting to believe more in the energy of life. Like even I'm noticing like I have little issues here and there. Like my job is fine. I don't want to complain because I could be without or have nothing because I've been there. But like when things happen to me now at my job, they get on my nerves. When I like literally like go, okay, I see what y'all on. Meditate or just go ahead and be like, I don't know, can't control it. Like I'll just let it go. The next day they be like, here's $1 million. Like, you know, like not necessarily $1 million.
Exactly. No, but for real.
But it'll turn into like something for me that is better than what I was like dying to have prior. Or it's something about releasing the energy of control that
it
God
really
or the universe was like,
yeah. You got to be flexible. Like when you're flexible, something about like when you are jumping out of a plane, say you're going to jump into the ocean. If you hit the ocean like belly flop, rigid as fuck, you're going to break your back.
Oh yeah.
If you hit the ocean fluid, feet down, like
you mess around and only break maybe one thing.
You might not break nothing. If your feet down, you might just like go down to the bottom a little bit and just buoy back on up. Yeah. Like you just have to get very fluid. Fluidity is the way that you get through everything.
Yeah.
Because you just, I feel like, who is this? Bruce Lee?
Hey.
Yeah. Be water. Yes. You just will flow once you.
Surfboard. Surfboard. Okay, yes. Come on. Like I
you
feel
really
like,
flow. You get into a flow of things. And so another way I'm pouring into you right now because I'm just thinking about this, but I really am learning how to be an entrepreneur and I learn how to be an entrepreneur from you.
Thank you.
Because literally every time I talk to you, you'll be like, all right, I'm going to just shoot this content real quick and then I'm going to get ready. And I'll be like, bitch, I need to be shooting more content.
I'll be shooting.
You shoot your content. Yes. But the thing is
day.
You have to be shooting like that.
Yeah.
You really do if you're trying to make this your career. And
it's also like a consistency thing.
It is a consistency thing.
Like you watch other girls or other guys on whatever platform you watch on social media and you're like they have their thing, but the consistency there's always somebody out there that will relate to whatever it is you're going through or talking about.
And I'm noticing just with like Instagram, I notice if I post every single day for 10 days my views go up every day I post.
They do.
And so it's getting to a place where you're not letting anything stand in the way of what you want and what you're willing to do to get it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we say we want something and then we couch potato.
Yeah.
Or we say we want something and then we resist the ways that are presented to us in order to attain that thing that we want.
Yeah.
When if you're fluid and you say you want something, the ways that you need to go about to get it will present themselves to you. You just have to get in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and then I think what I learned like through my hard times too was just take a day. Sometimes you think you like, I got to figure out the answer. I got to figure out the way to pay these bills or I got to figure out this. And if you just take a day to just chill and just rest and just let all that go, it's going to come to you.
Yeah.
Like I feel like during that time of not knowing where income was going to come, I started so many things on Fiverr. Like I started doing voiceover. I think I made decent amount of money on there from like money just started to come to me. I think once I just
this is what I've learned. This is
like,
what I learned.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like it was a lot of money, but it would be like,
but it's enough.
Somehow I would always be okay. Something would happen, you know, whether I would make money on Fiverr or somebody would contact me for something, and it would just be there. So it was just like as soon as I would like release the worry, it would just always work out. So I think what I learned through the hard times was just really not worry. I know that sounds crazy. But you kind of gotta like
really
be like, okay, well, you gotta let go.
Let go or be dragged. I got it tatted. I got that tatted right when I ended a really long relationship, and it was dragging the fuck out of me.
Manifesting.
Like, I was really like, oh my god, I'm about
relationships.
To die. I really thought I was gonna die.
Oh,
like,
Lord.
it literally was one of them things where if I did not learn how to release the energy of what had happened in that relationship, I would have. Like,
I think heartbreak is something.
It really like
that is I don't know. Heartbreak is really.
It's really tough. It's really, really tough. And to the people who are going through a heartbreak right now, if you're listening, the biggest heartbreak that I had happened 6 years ago, and it was something that I never thought I would be able to get over. And the beautiful thing about it is, not only did I get over it, I'm so thankful it happened, because this person that I am right now, I wouldn't wish what I went through on my worst enemy.
Of course not. Heartbreak would be real trash.
But I also would do it again if I knew it was going to lead me back to. I'm not doing
it again. I will say this, I would go through everybody that broke my heart is ugly. So I mean, you know,
okay, you know it's ugly.
I mean, you look at them now, you be like, oh, he looked like a, you know, it didn't hit him. This does not
resonate with me. The funny thing about that is, I feel like there's like a lot of action on Twitter about would you date an ugly person, and I just really could never.
We talked about.
I could never imagine you arguing with your man and you look at this ugly ass fool. I would die. I would literally like pass away.
I feel like I wouldn't say lower my standards, but I think I don't know how the best way to say this, but I definitely, the last person I dated, I was like,
you dated their personality.
No, because he didn't have one. I think that I remember my friends. I'm just keeping it real. If he see this, I mean, listen. I learned. I just remember when we first met. I remember telling my homegirl, I was like, I don't know, girl, he's not my real type. And my friend said to me, that's how you find your man. You gotta pick somebody that's not your type. We'll never do again. The worst advice I was ever given.
I don't think is so. The thing is, I don't even think you have to have a type, but you have to be physically attracted to your partner.
Listen, I will tell you that your partner can grow on you.
This is not something I advise.
I think that if it's okay, I'm gonna be honest. Okay. Have you ever worked at a job? Mm-hmm. Okay, and you work with someone that you would never talk to if you saw him out, but then y'all work together so much that you like, oh, he kind of cute. Sure, yes. You know what I'm saying? Of course, that's the same thing of. I would never date this type of person, but over time, they've grown on you. Okay. So I feel like I've had a grown on me type of relationship, but I think that was poor advice. But I think for a lot, I won't even say women. I think people dating in general, we all go through so much in a dating world that we all would be like, oh, let me try this.
Let me be more open.
Let me throw this dart at the board and see if it works.
I can understand that.
I would never.
It's not something I'm gonna do. Like, but I also think that for me, I'm a little shallow.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, and so I need to be physically attracted, but I also need to be able to like feel proud to have you on my arm or to be on your arm. Like, and I don't know. And that can't be the only thing though. So, and this is why I remain single, because it cannot just be physical attraction. There's a feeling I have to have. Right. There's like a chemistry that needs to take place that I haven't really felt for a long time.
Well, I got bamboozled.
And that'll happen.
Or maybe that I didn't get bamboozled. It could be all my fault. Who knows? But I feel like outside now, it's different.
It's weird.
It's different.
I really feel
and
like
I also feel like I learned from my last situation was overcompensation is a real thing. Mm-hmm. If someone is overly showering you with gifts and overly doing the most.
Yeah.
And love bombing is not like a short thing. It's not like,
it's a long term.
It could be a long term. Yes. Like, I feel like I got long term love bombed. Because even when I would be like, this ain't really what I want. I don't want to be here. And I'd be like, gotta go. They'd be like, no, here's a trip to Africa. Yeah. So I feel like, I learned a lot from that situation of like, what is overcompensation? And when I mean that, it's like you could be with somebody who's maybe not physically attractive, but maybe they have a lot of money and they're covering up something with that. They have outfits to cover it up with or trips to cover it. Like, it's just like I learned, like, if you're not happy, you're just not happy. It is what it is. You can't. But I felt like at the time though, I wasn't, but then everybody kept making me feel like I was being shallow. In the beginning, I felt like I was like, I don't know. And my friends would be like, see, you making issues. You trying to find something wrong.
You come to me and I'll let you know. Like, I'm the friend who is going to tell you, if you're not physically attracted to him, leave him. Like, if he's not flicking all the switches and boxes and whatever you're supposed to, checking him, leave. It's fine.
I think I learned that I was the vibe. Have you ever had a relationship like that?
Yes.
Where you're like, it's only fun because I'm
so tired because like, oh,
it's only we only laughing because I'm funny.
Yeah.
We only going to these fun places because I said let's go here. If it wasn't for me, we would. Look,
and so what you find in those specific type of situations is that the guy they'll love bomb you with the things, with the stuff, with the money, with the trips, with the dinners, with the gifts, whatever.
Baby.
But also you find that they'll say little slick shit that kind of tears you down a little bit. And you'd be like, wait, hold on now.
Yeah, that was the interesting part for me because I feel like I knew what a narcissist was, but I don't think I met this version. I've never met the version with money.
Narcissist 2.24.
It was like I got love bombed, sucked in. They played this role, and then it was like, boom, I'm crazy. And then you were like, whoa, you didn't know. So you're searching for this person that you met.
They don't exist.
And then it was like, what? You've been the devil the whole time?
Don't exist, yeah.
So it was like kind of that, which is kind of shocking, but I bounced back so fast that I didn't even realize I could bounce back that fast, which was good. But,
because I think the thing is, once you're done, I think people, and I used to think you had to go through a whole healing process between each relationship, but depending on what you dealt with in a relationship, you might not even need to heal. The healing is letting go of it. Getting out of it, saying, I don't want to be here no more.
I thought I was going to have to heal really bad from this person, but guess what I figured out, y'all?
Yeah.
Really, I didn't even like this nigga. It was my ego. Yes. She was obsessed with the fact that I need him to. It was like once I was like, peace out, it was like I just healed. It was like I was better.
Yeah.
And you know how you can go through your Instagram now. I know exactly what picture that represents I didn't give a fuck no more. Like, no, I think it was my ego that was like, how could you treat me as if? Once I took my ego out of the equation and got back to myself, it was like, I ain't even thinking about you.
Your ego will have you on some fuck shit.
My ego had me tripping.
Your ego will have you on some fuck shit.
It will. And my ego got her heart broken. I don't even know if I was really sad. Like,
you really don't even be caring. And literally. So if you will take a step back and say, how much of me, like the core of who I am, is invested in this person?
Yeah,
if it ain't enough, cut your losses and get the fuck on out of there. Like,
I remember, I will never forget the day. It was like, he had texted me something and I was just like, it looked like Spanish to me almost. I was like, he's from Germany. Can somebody
translate this shit?
Yeah, I was like, and I just never replied back forever. And it was just like, I was fine. And I literally look at my Instagram sometimes being like, I wonder if he saw that because he probably was like, what? Like, it was a glow up that happened so fast.
Yes.
It was like, I got skinnier. My skin was clear. It was like, I literally let go of something that
But I think
was not serving me.
For people who come in the kind of packages that your ex came in, or one of my exes came in, where after we broke up, he said the most heinous shit to me.
Girl.
Like, you have said just wild shit to me. And for me, I'm not really necessarily the be friends with the ex type. Like, we might have a little kiki every once in a while, but I don't need to talk to you. Like, it's just,
I have no problem with being cordial.
Yes.
I'm not gonna kick it with you.
We don't need to kick it. Yes.
I'm not gonna go nowhere with you, nothing like that.
Yes.
But I don't believe in being angry. But the things he said was so wild.
They were so wild. And so he tried to apologize and then try to like slide back in and we can be friends. No, sir.
No. I never expected that between us because the read that I gave him, I wouldn't speak to me. I would just never speak to me again. Like, I wouldn't. But I literally think it's the audacity of...
But nobody has more audacity than a man. Oh my God.
True.
We have to talk about Love is Blind.
Yeah, girl. I think that watching that and the maturity from everything in my life, from learning from jobs to the last relationship, I watched that and was like, whoo, so glad that I'm able to catch on. Because Love is Blind was like watching the old version of myself.
Yeah.
Wanting to be in love so bad that I'll be willing to fall in love through a wall.
But I
just don't want this.
And so this goes back to the physical attraction thing. Because I just don't feel like it's realistic for us as human beings who are naturally drawn to things by the eyes and then the nose and then what the sound is. Like, this is how we perceive things. You're not about...
Listen, Chelsea and Jimmy. Okay, let me tell you my tea on them.
Chelsea like really made me mad because you making me side with a man and I don't like it.
I didn't side with him. Honestly, I there was parts of Chelsea that I was like, oh, you've been her before. I've been her before.
I mean,
I have been a Chelsea before.
Chelsea really had me being like, don't like Jimmy, get out of there. Yeah.
You know he don't like you. You know he a mess. You know what's you know her gut told her from soon as they opened the door and they saw each other, her gut was like, oh no. But she was like, okay.
The whole situation, the whole concept of Love is Blind.
My favorite, what he said to her when she was like, you didn't even talk to me all night. He goes, I ate too many taquitos and cut my lip. I said, baby, when a man told you he cut his lip and he can't talk to you, you gotta get out of there, Chelsea. Run.
Like, baby, what is happening for y'all?
It was bad. It was bad. It was so bad that she had to come to the reunion wearing a whole bird on her shoulders.
What's she doing?
Chelsea looked bananas on the reunion. Chelsea was like, I know I looked dumb. She had 2 birds on her shoulders. You better take them birds off.
She had on birds?
Them feathers on her dress was so big.
Oh my
She said, baby, I'm not going to let y'all remember what happened. I'm going to put these birds on my shoulders.
Also, I don't feel like Nick and Vanessa gave us the time on Chelsea and Jimmy that they should have given us. Nick and Vanessa.
Who was Nick? Oh, because I think that because on the reunion, it was funny to me. They didn't really give a lot of people time. I don't remember the one couple's name, but they was like, all right, thanks for coming to the reunion. They was like, oh, wait.
The ones who got married?
Nobody they were boring.
They were so boring.
But the I literally couple, just what was the black dude's name with the things?
Oh.
And the one girl. They forgot about them.
Oh, so this is the other thing about Love is Blind. And obviously we know what black people sound like. If you black, you just know what another black person sound like. So it's a very slim possibility that you would fall in love with somebody who is non-black if that's what you're looking for. But say like you're talking to somebody who's got like a John B affectation. Is that the right word?
I don't know.
Then they open the door and they white. What you supposed to do?
I'm not gonna be on the show. I would
never be on the show because for me, I really only want to date black men. I'm only ever interested in dating black men.
If you sign up for the show,
you have to be open to that, and this is why it wouldn't work for me. Because for me, like I really want a black husband, and so I'm not open to the concept.
But then Clay could come out, and he was absolutely terrible.
Clay would not have made it through the first day.
He's cute. I give it to him. He's very cute,
but this is Love is Blind.
Definitely a liar. He reminds me of. Like, if you went to an all-black college or anything like that, he's definitely like, I'm trying to be the black college perfect guy when you terrible. He wants to be perfect so bad, but he is not good. And you knew he wasn't good because his father couldn't even give him the right advice. The father was like, see, 1 + 1 is 16.
That whole situation.
Awful. It was awful.
Ooh, excuse me. So I had to actually tell my friends because my friends were like, when we were watching the reunion and he was like giving his whole spiel. My friends were like, oh, I think he's really done the work. Girl, and I was like, y'all are married.
Married women said this?
Yes. But I think it's because they're married and they're not out here with these clowns.
Oh. Like, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
When you've been in love for a long time, you got he could be a nice person.
Exactly. No. You want to give people the benefit of the doubt.
When he take off that mask, baby, the devil is real.
Once you show me who you are, and then you get on you see how you're perceived by the audience, and you decide to come and give a lot of therapy speak at the reunion.
He's worse than a man you keep getting caught cheating.
Yeah. For me, that was just kind of like, I
found a therapist.
I was not buying it.
That's
was
my
not
cousin.
For me. But also.
No, he is. That's my cousin type of man. I can't.
Really is a that's my cousin. But I just also think that it's very easy to get swindled by that type of energy if you're not like really. If you're not really. What do you say?
No, I don't know that. I don't know that if that's true. Clay, though, I thought. On paper, he was a good cast because I thought it was funny. AD's mom was very black momish. She definitely, her mom definitely looked like she.
Savannah.
Her mother looked like she smoked cigarettes. And at night she drink dark liquor. She was like, listen, baby, he got 13 jobs. Get him for his money.
He does.
I was like, he's not good. And you are sending your daughter completely off.
Into the lion's den. And
here's the thing. When the mother of the son is giving you eyes of run, baby.
When she hugged her when she went back down,
she knew.
You know what? I felt sad for AD because I think we've all been AD in a sense where
absolutely.
I'm not convinced that she did not know and just hope. I'm convinced that she kind of knew he was not all the way in, but she hoped
this goes back to what I was saying in my last relationship.
Yes.
Like I had this big old argument with my boyfriend. We was because men be like, why do you watch this? And they get sucked in. He was in there being like, now let me tell. I was like, don't come in here trying to be on my show, sir.
Yes.
But what I would say that bothered me about Clay was it's like she knew, and she was giving her parts of being like, well, answer this for me and tell me that. He kept reassuring her.
He did keep, because
even though we could see. Yeah. We could see that it wasn't going to work, but he kept on being like, no, I love you, AD, and da-da-da. I felt like he was leading her on. It was not fair.
He absolutely did. He knew he was going to say no.
He played in her face.
He knew he was going to say no. This man didn't even know they got married until they were shooting the show.
Basically.
Like,
he was like, wait a minute, there's a wedding at the end? I can't do this.
Why would you sign up for the Hunger Games if you don't know what the fucking rules are?
His family knew he wasn't going to marry her because the sister showed up wearing a fucking chip clip on her hair. Her whole outfit was what? The sister was like, the wedding is today.
I'm so sick of this shit.
All his cousins was in the cut like, here we go. This is third wedding this week. Like, nobody, the only person that had sense was the mama.
The mama was so
The mama was smart. The father was like, well, where we at again, son? It was completely absurd.
Bananas. It was bananas.
Absurd.
But I think I hope for AD that she will heal.
Well, she looked good.
She looked amazing.
She looked great.
She always looks amazing.
She looked beautiful.
But I think that what I hope for her is that she will get to a point where she can heal enough to recognize the fuck shit early.
It hurt my feelings and my whole soul in the end when she was like, I'm never enough.
I know.
I was about to cry.
But this is why I hope she heals.
Because every woman has felt that
way.
Because
she's always been enough, but you keep running up against the same person. And so we talked about this
and then she said,
year.
I don't mean to cut you off, but then she said I saw her on a podcast and she said, I guess off camera, in the end, he said to her something about how he didn't think she made enough money or something. Mm-hmm. I was like, I've been a part of that too with certain men that are like infatuated with the fact that I'm a comic and I'm on TV, but then they get into my life and be like, she's an entrepreneur. Like she has to keep working towards this. Or because my last ex said some stupid stuff like, well, I don't want to be the main breadwinner. Sir, you're ugly. I'm here.
I'm the candy.
Like, what are you talking about?
Candy. Like, let's be very fucking
Let's be honest. On top of that, to get where I'm at, a regular we're not gonna go there. We're
gonna
be happy.
We're
not gonna take a good down that road.
We're in a good place.
I'm just saying, like, you could never. Like, you could to get to where I'm at is insane. Yes. It's like, but I thought that was shitty too.
There's a lot of like fear among men that women are gonna gold dig gold that doesn't exist for them, and so that's a conversation for another day.
It ain't even nothing to dig nowadays. We in a recession.
The gold doesn't exist.
You could have a job and still need another job.
Okay. What I think though for her is that I want her to get to a place where she is not looking for somebody to validate her in that way, because he did reassure her a lot, but he also gave red flag after red flag after red flag.
Oh, I thought the first red flag that I caught was when they were in the pods.
Yeah.
And he was like, looks are important. It was just like, well, I don't know what you like.
Yes.
And maybe I'm not that. And so I don't even have time for this.
Yes. And so when he said that, it made more sense to me that he had not watched The Experiment at all. How did he get on this show?
I think reality TV is reality TV, and let's be clear. Even though it's about finding love, they are picking characters that they know are going to be good for TV.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Have you ever auditioned for reality TV?
Mm-mm.
I have.
Okay.
Years before I was like, I'm going to move to LA and be an actor.
I don't think I would be a good candidate.
I auditioned for The Real World. I also was a candidate on America's Next Top Model. I didn't get into the house, but I got pretty far. And a lot of the reason that I got far had nothing to do with
pay for her crimes.
A lot of the reason that I got as far as I did wasn't literally because I was like, I could model, but it was like I made up drama. Mm-hmm. Like me and some of the girls already knew each other. It was like, okay, let's just say that's what they look for. They look for the drama. That's why
Tyra was
the couple that got married, no one cared.
Nobody cared.
But
I also just feel like they were so bland.
They were. This is my husband. Boo. Yeah. What about the throuple? I forget their names, but the one guy, I don't know his name, but she didn't come to the reunion. She was like, I'm in Spain. Peace out.
Laura
and what?
And Jeremy with an A.
Jeremy and Stephanie was her name?
Sarah Ann.
Sarah and Jeremy belong together. They are liars.
He's
I never liked him.
For me, so when I saw him, I kind of felt like something about him is a little
serial killer.
Off. Yes.
You got on a Hawaiian shirt. You kill people.
But
he has a body somewhere. You can't tell me.
His eyes do a weird.
I went to college with YT boys. I'm going to say that just in case we put this on TikTok. And he gives off, I didn't mean to kill her. Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't love his energy.
Law and Order material.
But I did love how Lauren did not hold any punches.
I thought she read him for filth. But I also don't know if I trust her fully either, guys. I did say on my TikTok that she also gives, that is the YT friend you have that'll scream out the N-word in the song.
Oh.
That you'll be like, wait a minute, hey.
Let's hope
that
not.
Group, I wasn't really feeling them.
Let us hope not.
You could just tell everybody from the show needed healing.
Yes.
They needed Jesus. They needed it.
And I think we are all in a position. This goes back to the beginning of the podcast. It's a perpetual effort.
Yes.
You never are done.
Yeah.
There's always new things that you have to heal from.
Always.
However, I think you have to be honest with yourself when you're going on a show like Love is Blind and just say, because a lot of the reason this shit don't work out is because people don't be physically attracted to each other.
Right.
And also,
I think I read that.
Yeah.
This is my first time watching the show.
Because Love isn't blind, guys. I want you to understand. Isn't. And the people who think that Love is Blind are
and don't let nobody tell you, try something new.
No.
No, don't do it.
They're in very unhappy relationships.
Don't do it.
Like,
I did see that AD said on another podcast, because I love her, by the way. AD,
she's the best. She's
You're gonna be
just so like amazing.
She said, they asked her, what did she learn? And she said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
And I think that's as we get to the end of this episode, I'm like, I think that's with everything, you guys. That's what I learned last year.
Yes.
When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Do not let them say, I'm sorry, or I'm going to change, or this wasn't that. Same thing with a job. If a job is making you feel crappy and they're like, well, we're thinking about giving out bonuses.
Yeah.
Just be like, I don't think my mental health is worth this bonus.
So that was kind of what was happening at my job. Like at the end of my job, they were literally like giving us free handbags. Like, it just got to the point
This is my job right now. They consistently say after when they don't want to pay me for certain stuff, they go, but you have great potential.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like at the end of my last job, it really was a point where I just felt like they was trying to give us, because they knew that they were doing the most.
But people know when they're doing things to you that aren't right, by the way, you guys. Like, when some man or friend or job is doing you dirty, they know.
So and this is probably where we're going to have to, we got a couple of minutes left, but I also ended a friendship last year. This is another comfort that I had to let go of. And it was a really difficult thing.
Especially when it's a long friendship.
Ending friendships is fucking hard. And a lot of people don't talk about how hard you mourn that, but there are people who come into your life who really like get ingrained into your everyday existence. And so when that goes away, and you are trying to figure out how to navigate without that, you really do feel like you're going through a breakup. It is a form of breakup. It is
kind of a breakup.
And honestly, it's really, really painful. And the thing is, you have to get to a point where you are comfortable with going through that pain and not wanting to walk away from something that is no longer serve you, allow you to stay in a space that is also hurtful.
Yeah. Because you can grow apart from somebody. That's just normal. That's one thing I did learn about friendships. Like, you know, who you become, you might not
mesh with the person anymore. Yeah.
And that happened to me with a friendship where it was just like, it wasn't like, I learned now, it was like, it wasn't that person was a bad person or anything like that. It was just like,
I don't think it is. We not vibing like we used to, and you got to walk away. But when you walk away from your friendships, I think your friendships really are the things that like hold you up. And so I think of it as like a fence, and you're like standing behind the fence or in front of the fence and you're kind of leaning on it. When you lose like part of the support of the fence, you feel a little shaky for a while because you're trying to figure out, okay, well, how do I navigate without this piece of my fence? Yeah. Like, this is a part of who I am. This has become a part of my like existence. And so I'm trying to figure out like, am I going to be okay? And ultimately, you always will be.
You have to grow.
You grow, but it's just this is another one of my comforts where God was like, oh yeah, you're not going together.
Growth is like a fish tank.
Yeah.
You only can get as big as the tank you in.
Yeah.
So if your surroundings are not that anymore.
Oh,
you gotta
girl.
move on. And that's one thing that I've been okay with, because being an entertainer for so long, my friend groups change a lot. And
I'm not used to that.
I've been through that a lot.
I am not used to that. I really have had the same group of friends for like 20 years.
For a while, I used to think it was something wrong with me, because when I moved to LA, I was like, dang, every year you're with a different group of people. But I realized I was a different person every year. And every year, what I wanted out of my career and my life changed. And some people were there, and when I look around where I'm at in my career and in my life, a lot of those people aren't there. And that just says enough right there.
And it's okay.
And that's okay.
It's okay. It's not always going to go the way you think it's going to go. This is why we have to let go. This is why we got to let go.
Literally.
We coming back to the top. This is why you got to let go. Yeah.
You do never know what your life's going to look like. That's why you got to go ahead and ride that wave.
Yep. Yeah.
Surfboard.
Be fluid.
Surfboard.
Be like water. Get in your Bruce Lee bag. Like, don't put too much pressure on trying to make something be what it's not.
Absolutely.
And that goes to dating, to relationships, to jobs, to life in general. Like, find the silver lining of the situations that you have to stick in, that you don't really have a choice but to be in. And the things that you can walk away from that aren't serving you, just walk away. And know that something else will come along to replenish you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Life goes on, and trust that gut. You know, the hard times are always going to be hard times. You know, have your moment. I think it's important to have your moment. Be sad, but don't be sad for too long, because something better is always going to come.
Don't be sitting around crying about it. It's okay. Yeah.
Oh, I had a good old ugly cry. Lots of days.
I mean, I spent every other day in 2023 bawling my eyes out.
So, honey. I mean, I still have a meltdown here and there. I almost had one today because I was like, oh, I can't deal with but then I realized today too, I'll be honest. I was like, you know what? If this continues, I have to reevaluate certain things when it comes to like my job and certain things that make me feel it. You're like, I can't blame other people in other situations anymore. Yeah. It is up to me to find my own happiness.
Yes. Yeah.
Period.
I definitely have. I cry a lot. I feel like I'm a hippie.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
Some people aren't.
Yes.
Some people are like, yeah.
Yeah. My bestie's always like, Alicia, you're very in tune with your body and your emotions. And I am.
Because I'm glad
if I need to release some feelings, I will. I don't know if y'all know this, but if you need to, like, you just feel like a bunch of pent up energy. If you dance for like 15 minutes or do like somatic exercises, you'll cry. Yeah. Ugly ass cry. Like, and it'll just let all of that emotion out. Yeah.
Because I feel like people nowadays don't really do that. I feel like we're losing that. Like
you lose it, yeah.
I don't know if it's social media that's bringing us to this, but I feel like in life now, it's like, when are we able to use emotions? Everything's now like, keep going.
Yeah, and I think it's very trendy to be like, I don't let this shit affect me. No, things affect me. I'm sensitive.
It's like
I be crying. I cried about some bees like 2 weeks ago. I called my sister and just like melted the fuck down because I was trying to figure out. I still eat honey as a vegan. I don't anymore. I have like 1 bottle of honey and that's it.
Well, you can't eat honey?
Yeah, so...
Dang, veganism be boring.
We still eating good. But I was making a video and I used honey in the video, and I was going to talk about how I still just going to do a cute little video about how I still use honey as a vegan because it's mutually beneficial for us and the bees. Like the bees are not harmed. But then I started deep diving about like what happens to bees, and they really have like kind of a sad existence.
What?
Yeah. So essentially they pollinate like 85% or 80% of the plant food that we eat. It's kind of like an astronomical number.
What do they eat?
So they eat like nectar, honey, or not honey, nectar. They go into the plant, they get the nectar from the plant, but when they drop into like the little center of a plant, they pollinate it. And the pollination is what allows like almonds and blueberries and watermelon and strawberry, like every plant food that you could conceive of. Okay. Bees are pollinating like 80% of it. But yeah, so we like exactly. So we really need bees, but I got really upset because as I was looking into this, I started to read up on colony collapse and how like 90% of the colonies just kind of die off. They disappear. And 90% of a bee colony is anywhere from like, there's like 20 to 80,000 bees in a colony. So 90% of a colony is literally like 18,000 bees. 18,000 to like 72,000 bees just dying off. It made me so fucking sad.
Well, do they make more bees?
I mean, the bees
because that's a lot of bees.
That's a lot of bees.
Low key, you're kind of like, they good. They gonna have another set.
But it's not.
That's the same way I feel about cats. It's always stray cats.
I cannot
they keep
stand
doing
her.
It. That's how I feel feel about stray cats. I'm serious.
No, but you think
I'm like, they
about
gonna be
like
all right. It's gonna be another round of cats.
So many bees to
Sick of
just
this.
like, and they die because the pesticides that they use on the trees that the bees are pollinating
Oh,
are
well, they gonna be
toxic.
straight. That ain't.
But it's not okay for them. I know.
You see how the vegans do? We got to save the. No,
we do.
it's enough of them.
This is
it's
why,
not enough of us.
This is why
If the bees came down, we not gonna win.
Sad.
We lost.
I was so sad because I just had to call my sister in the middle of the night.
That's how my mom feels about cats because she loves feeding stray
yeah,
cats.
but
I'll be like,
I
no.
just think that it really like it was one of those moments where I was having like an existential crisis about capitalism and
Oh my
about how
God.
humans like really just are a scourge on the earth and on its resources.
Well, if we not here, then who gonna get the honey from them? They gonna
the
just be
bees
doing
would
it for
just
no
be
reason.
like living their best life, honestly, if we
I
weren't
guess.
here. But we like traipsing them all over the country to pollinate all these plants, and they're dying by the boatload because of us. And it just made me sad. And I called my sister.
We're gonna wrap this up. But
We
the
gonna
circle,
wrap it up. Yeah.
The circle of life is you better have a good time because you could.
They do be having a good time though. And the thing is, I don't. They're sentient beings, but I also don't think that they're like. I'll do a video.
Know.
On
I
it.
feel
I
like
don't
the
know.
bees
I'ma
and the
do a
cats
video.
are gonna be fine
They're gonna be fine
because it's a lot of them.
I hope that they're gonna be fine. But either way, I just feel like
the humans ain't doing too good.
I used to be very ashamed.
I
used to be very ashamed to have big emotions about things that seem kind of like insignificant.
No,
to
I mean if
people.
you want to love it, that's fine.
I felt very.
That's how I
deeply
feel
for
about
them.
people that love anime.
Yeah.
Cool, you do you. I'm gonna go ahead and watch regular TV. It's too emotional for me. No, you guys, this has been great. We are so happy to be back.
So glad to be back.
Please subscribe,
Yes.
comment,
Like,
and check out old episodes.
Share it. Like two Black women doing a podcast about love, emotions,
Yes.
entrepreneurship, friendship, bees,
Cats.
humanity, feeling your emotions. Like
Yes.
tap in with us.
All right,
Yes.
you guys. We will be back for our next episode. Like I said, please do watch all episodes. Like, subscribe, check out our TikTok.
Yes.
We love you guys and have a good night.
Thank you.